Hello, everyone. This is Joseph with the My Cross, His Grace podcast radio. I had to come on real quick and share a couple of thoughts that was on my mind today. Today's Saturday, March 1st. And that was that it had to do with matters of speech. How you speak reveals so much about you, you don't even know. You might have an accent, which could indicate what part of the country you're from, or even what country you might be from. Myself, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm not talking from Brooklyn right now, but we don't have accents in Brooklyn. Everybody else does. So it makes life interesting. But how you speak, the words you choose, the words you don't use, reveal very much about you as a person. It indicates to some degree or another the level of education you have, level of sophistication, class, and so much more. And I've figured out that your ability to speak and to write is directly related to how well you enjoy reading and how much you have read. And the reason for that is the more reading that you do, without even knowing it, you become accustomed to seeing words used together and know what sounds right and what doesn't, okay? So that it becomes part of your manner of speech. That's important. It's important because it's easy to fall into the lingo of the street, slang, the job, casual humor. It can become a bad habit. So much so to the effect that you could be judged by it in the work environment. And so to avoid that, it takes effort. It takes effort to cultivate a manner of speech and presence to put yourself forward and to be seen, not making up words or using words that don't make correct sense in the proper use, but to be seen speaking well, considerate, reasonable, conscientious, and using appropriate demeanor and language for your age and for the setting you're in. In other words, you should speak as if you're in the job that you always dream of having. Don't dress and speak for the job you have, but for the one that you want. And in that sense, you'll always come across fine. And that's to be encouraged. Now, the other thought that I wanted to talk about is how the Vatican and the White House seem to have a little bit in common this week, and it's not good, okay? I've already talked in the last video of how, for example, you're getting various updates on Pope Francis. And, one minute he's doing fine, but he's stable. Another minute he's in intensive care and he remains there. He's being treated. He had a good night, but he's working on things. And so if he's in intensive care, he has a hiccup or whatever, okay? He's medicated to some degree or another, and we're supposed to believe he's working on things. The facts are not lining up with the circumstances. If he was or is in ICU, for example, doing the things that they say he's doing, then you would have some evidence of that. Like I was saying in the last video, where is the proof of life? You would see him sitting up in a bed, in a chair, communicating with aides. Even if he couldn't speak, he could be writing on a clipboard and sharing information and show that there's a connection. But if he's medicated to whatever degree, what kind of decisions is he capable of making? And are people conducting business for him in their own stead instead of acting for him, not even knowing if he's participating in the conversation at all and what's being done under his hand or signature? So it's a matter of transparency, you see. And so we're not questioning the people's faith, but the people have a right to know. What we are questioning in that sense is the honesty of the people that are speaking on his condition. So how does that compare to the White House? Well, all during the election campaign when the candidates were campaigning, President Trump said that the Jeffrey Epstein information would be released. And then there was the people that were selected for Attorney General, for the Director of FBI, and various other cabinet positions. And they all agreed that it would be the first order of business, the first day. Well, fast forward, it was announced by the Justice Department, the Attorney General, Bondi, that it would be tomorrow, the day that was selected. It's already passed now, and it did come, and what we didn't see is what we all expected to have happen, which was for the information that was said to be on her desk released the next day. And so there was like a dog and pony show of sorts. They took 5 social media influencers, invited them to the White House, gave them binders with nothing in it, with information that was already in the public domain, which purports to show that a news event happened where, promises made, promises kept. Here's the information. Only one problem with that. There was no new information. It was what was already in the public domain. And so it's a major fumble, okay? And it goes to transparency, all right? We're only 5 weeks into a new presidential administration. And what the public seen in President Trump was that, and he was able to say, and the argument was accepted, I'm not one of them. And on that basis, he was given the vote of the people to do a number of things, one of which was to release the information concerning Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason that's so important is because we know that many people within the government at all levels, federal, state, and local, have been corrupted, compromised, involved in unethical, illegal, bad practices that if we were to find out as a country, we would be very upset. We would be demanding accountability and justice. And it would seem now that there's an effort to continue protecting those people who they don't want us to find out are the people that we're talking about. And so it is going to come out. There will be accountability and there will be justice. But I mentioned President Trump in this because while it may not have been him, he is the person in charge of the executive branch. And so his appointees are responsible, but he ultimately is over all of them, in which case it defaults to him. And so we're, as I said, 5 weeks into the new administration, but this is such a major issue and fumble that if it's not corrected properly soon, as a country, we become weaker because we lose faith in the elected leadership and their ability to get things done. The Attorney General had mentioned that sometime after, with less confidence than the day before, that there were people in the FBI in the Southern District of New York that were getting in the way, pushing back, and not being forthright and putting the information forward. And together mentioning that, that they had to make sure that the identities of the victims were redacted from the information. Of course, that's normal. You would expect that to be done. You would think that it would have already been done. All right, so you need a couple of days to do it, have a couple of days to do it, but get it done. This is not an unfair or unreasonable request or demand. It is actually their own words where we would have this for you tomorrow. Tomorrow came and went and nothing happened. Why did they choose 5 influencers to be briefed on anything and then share it with the rest of the country? Whatever we're talking about should be in a PDF document, uploaded online for the world to see and evaluate and go from there. So that's a shady practice. It's not transparent. It's no different than what's going on at the Vatican. We're calling it out, and we expect both houses, the Vatican and the White House, to get on it and get things working again as they need to. Otherwise, we're all in trouble. So this is Joseph. Thanks for tuning in. This is Joseph with the My Cross, His Grace podcast radio. We'll see you soon.